Welcome to Bull TV, where we're bullish on Collierville and the Mid-South. I'm your host, David Pickler. Bull TV is a monthly show that empowers, educates, and entertains while highlighting the people who inspire and deliver solutions for a stronger community. Bull TV is sponsored by Pickler Companies and proudly produced by the students of Collierville High School. We invite you to watch our show at www.bulltv.show, thebullnetwork.com, and CHS-TV 19. New episodes air on the second Sunday of every month at 3 p.m. Central Time. On today's show, we welcome Bill Dunavant, Chairman, CEO, and President of Dunavant Enterprises. Join us as we dive into Bill's journey from leading the world's largest cotton merchant to becoming a visionary leader in the business world. We'll discuss his global business impact and his dedication to Memphis economic growth. Don't miss this insightful conversation with Bill, a respected leader who continues to shape the future of business and community in Memphis and beyond. Today, I'm joined by Bill Dunavant. As Chairman, CEO, and President of Dunavant Enterprises, Bill has led this privately owned Memphis-based company to incredible success. Under his leadership, Dunavant Enterprises now operates three major divisions: a global fourth-party logistics company, a real estate group, and a private equity investment company. His career began in the global cotton trade, where the Dunavant Enterprises became the largest raw cotton merchant, selling 5 to 6 million bales annually and generating over $1.5 billion in sales. Bill's work has taken him around the world, including time spent living in Japan, Asia, and Europe. Bill's leadership extends beyond his company. He serves on the boards of the Memphis Chamber of Commerce and the Memphis University School. He is the chairman of the Memphis Chamber Chairman Circle and sits on the National Advisory Board of the Jefferson Scholars Foundation at the University of Virginia. His civic involvement includes advisory roles at Baptist Memorial Hospital, along with past leadership positions in the American Cotton Shippers Association, Cotton Council International, and Memphis Botanic Gardens, among others. He principally is involved as a past chairman of the Chickasaw Council Boy Scouts of America. Bill is married to his lovely wife, Michelle, and together they have 4 children and are proud grandparents of 4 grandchildren. Bill, thank you for joining us for Bull TV.
David, it's great to be here with you.
Well, you know, we always begin the same way, and that is to give the audience a chance to really get to know you a little bit. And so what we start with is in 3 words. Who is Bill Dunavant?
A proud Memphian.
I love it. I love it. You know what? We're going to spend a lot of time talking about Memphis, so I'm not going to follow up with that. That's a great start. So obviously I know the Dunavant Enterprises, you know, is a family business, but what inspired you, you know, as you took over leadership of Dunavant Enterprises, and, you know, and how has your vision for the company evolved over the years?
Well, it's really a quite easy answer. I describe myself as a bit of an oddball because I'm a 6th generation Memphian, and I don't know how many of those are in our community. The inspiration that I had, obviously, to follow my grandfather's footsteps and my late father's footsteps through my life, there really wasn't going to be an option because I knew what I wanted to do because they were such, especially my father, such a strong figure in my life to follow him in the family business. And family businesses, as you know, David, are hard to perpetuate, and I'm in the process of perpetuating our family business to the 7th generation in our family, and I've got 8th generation with grandchildren. And you know, family history and history of our city is really, really important to me. History of our company is really, really important to me as we've transformed over multiple generations.
Wow, what an amazing, and I mean, and your family has such an incredible legacy, and obviously I had the great pleasure of getting to know your dad, and not only a great business leader, but a great community servant and someone who I know inspired you by the great dedication that he had to community.
Yeah, and his vision was simple. You want to give back to your community, okay, and that's what he taught me, and I hope that's what I can teach not only my family members, but also other Memphians. From a philanthropic standpoint, Memphis, on a per capita basis, is one of the most generous communities in America.
It really is.
We give back to we Memphians, the greater Memphians, give back to our community and make a better place. And you can just look at some of our civic assets, and it screams success for Memphis.
Absolutely. Now, we talked about the fact that Dunavant Enterprises at one time was the world's largest cotton merchant, and so. Talk to me a bit about how y'all were able to manage such a global operation, and what are some of the key lessons that you've learned from a lifetime in the cotton trade?
So the answer is the same. My dad taught me this. Your success in business, whether you're a small business or big business, is surrounding yourself with the best, most capable and educated, committed team members. And we did it in every country in the world. But David, you know this. Success in business is related to how transparent and honest you are in bringing forth the trust that you need with both buyers and sellers. In our case, raw cotton, whether it's a farmer or a textile mill. If they trust you, it's going to go a long way. And my dad was a master at that. And as you know, I've traveled overseas all my life and lived overseas all my life, and had the opportunity to deal with different cultures in the world. And dealing with different cultures, I will tell you, I learned when I moved to Japan, America is a huge piece to a giant puzzle in the world. And every other piece of the puzzle in the world is important. America's not the only piece, and it's important to understand cultures, to respect cultures, to respect their history. I was a history economics major at UVA, and believe it or not, that history degree helped me when I moved to Asia and was dealing with different cultures, because I knew about that, and that's important.
That's hugely important. And I remember when I was first getting started in business, and that was the time that Japan was really on the rise, and how many mistakes that people made in trying to do business in Japan and the Asian cultures, because they did not take the time to invest and understand the culture and understand the differences.
Americans are pretty fast-paced, and sometimes the better part of valor is to hurry up and slow down, listen and watch what others do. And some of my greatest life lessons as a young businessman was to immerse myself with my Japanese counterparts, because they're really, really good at business.
Wow, that's fantastic. About a week ago, I was driving over in Arkansas around Des Arc, and I was passing some cotton fields. And I commented to my wife, I said, we used to see cotton fields everywhere. And because of the change in the economy and demand, that's changed. You grew up in that world. What are some of the lessons that you learned by growing with a family immersed in the cotton industry for leadership that you used in your life?
Well, again, my dad afforded me the opportunity, and I say this all the time. When I look back over my career and the people that I have been able to meet, from presidents of countries to politicians to leaders of global agriculture industry to the banking industry, the insurance industry, you learn so much by listening to smarter people. At the end of the day, whether you're sitting across from a president of a country, he is like you. He's just a human being,
right,
on a different path than you. And I look back at my life, and my dad afforded me the opportunities to meet people like that, from presidents of the United States, from presidents of countries, from President Karimov in Uzbekistan to Mikhail Gorbachev to President Bush to President Clinton, just to be in the presence of those people. But you walk away and you understand they're just humans like us, and they're trying to do things different. What a great life lesson that is.
Well, talking about great life lessons, I had the honor about a month ago sitting in a room and listening to you make a presentation that was so amazingly transformative in my mind, and just the way I think about Memphis. So tell us a little bit about what you think makes Memphis so special.
So, again, a lifelong Memphian who's come back and really wants to immerse myself in our community. In the last 10 or 15 years, I've seen more negatives than positives. And it's perception. And I hate to say this, but our news cycle perpetuates negative. And there's so much more to our community than that. When I was asked to take on the role with the Memphis Chamber of Commerce as chairman of the Chairman's Circle, all I did last September, October, November is think about how do you make a difference? Mm-hmm. How do you make a difference in our city and in our community? And if you think about our city, it's not our city, it's our greater community. Mm-hmm. When you look at metropolitan Memphis, the 7 counties that make up the metro area, including 3 in Mississippi and 2 in Arkansas, we're 1.33 million people mm-hmm. that depend on the greater Memphis area. So let's just say, Memphis has a population of 680,000, mm-hmm. but we got teammates for another 700,000, and we all live and breathe off of Memphis, and there's so much positive that I think the 1.33 need to start hearing and believing in, because here we are sitting in Collierville High School. If the answer is right in front of you, you need to read it and believe it. Mm-hmm. And the answer is Memphis is on the move. Memphis is positive with all the good things that we have going on. And it always starts where we are. It always starts with education. It always starts with young people. And if those young people are believing in what our community's doing and how our community's moving forward, we're all going to win.
Well, let's just talk about that. You talk about Memphis being on the move, and you used a very short word to describe Memphis, or where Memphis could be. Do you think Memphis is the next IT city?
It's a hard word to define, but let me tell you where I believe, and I truly believe this. Yes, Memphis is in a great state, and our state of Tennessee is doing incredibly well. Our bond rating is incredibly well. Everything's rated well. Nashville's growing, Chattanooga's growing, Knoxville's growing. Memphis is the economic engine of West Tennessee. It's one of the biggest tax revenue earners for the state of Tennessee. And when you look at the IT word, well, it relates to Blue Oval with Ford Motor Company locating. Mm-hmm. That's a $5.6 billion investment that's grown to probably $10 billion. That's going to take 7,000 employees to run and will be the IT facility for automotive manufacturing ever built in this country.
Wow.
And that's going to be a 30 to 40 to 50 year investment mm-hmm. That far exceeds our lifetime. You look just 2 miles south of here, for Cummins engines, Mercedes, and PACCAR. A $3 billion truck battery plant being built 3 miles south of Collierville. You look at now the newest investor who's come to our city, Elon Musk, mm-hmm. with XAI. He's built the largest supercomputer in the world in 6 months for an investment inside a building of about $5.3 billion. You talking about it? I thought you were referring to information technology because it's here. It is here, and it is real. And the fact that what he's doing, and now he's committed to doubling that. And look, the global world of information technology is looking and asking the question, what is going on in Memphis, Tennessee? And that's really exciting.
Well, let's talk about that. So what are the aspects about Memphis that make it so unique, such a great place for innovation and for economic growth?
So, David, that's the most important question you've asked me. Our city was founded as a distribution capital. Why? Mm-hmm. Because there were no roads and rail, but we had a really mighty river coming by us. Mm-hmm. Okay, this is pre-Civil War. We have developed into, because of our location, because of our weather, the supply chain distribution capital of America.
Right.
And I don't say that term lightly because it's true.
It is true.
We have the second largest freight airport in the world that moves 8.5 billion pounds of cargo annually.
Wow.
We have the river, the 5th largest inland port. You mentioned driving in Arkansas looking at cotton. 60% of America's grain production mm-hmm. passes us every year going to New Orleans being exported under our bridges. We are home to 5 Class 1 rails. Memphis and Chicago, those are the 2 cities. 3 million containers come from the East Coast to the West Coast into Memphis to be distributed right here. Nike's North American Distribution Center here. Milwaukee Tools American Distribution Center is here. We're the confluence of 5 interstate highway systems. One of them, I-40, being the 3rd most trafficked truck corridor in America. So you put all those things together, but our biggest assets, our city sits on the greatest aquifer in the world.
Exactly.
Bar none. And it's clean, and it's fresh, and it's over 100 trillion gallons of water that's sustainable.
100 trillion.
100 trillion. 100 trillion.
Wow.
And it is sustainable, okay? It is still growing. The Mallory pumping plant downtown is pumping our water. They pump 250 million gallons a day. It carbon dates 1,500 years old.
They're pumping water that is 1,500 years old?
From our aquifer every day.
Wow.
And carbon dated. So that gives you a scope of what's underneath us. And you look at businesses, whether it's Blue Oval or XAI, water is an incredibly valuable commodity and component. There are many places in the world, my former business in agriculture, a lot of places in the world are running out of water.
Yes.
One of the largest landowners in the state of Arkansas is Bill Gates. He's buying agricultural land. Why? The most sustainable agricultural model on earth has to have a good supply of water, and we sit on it here. Thirdly, is power.
Yes.
And I was in a meeting yesterday with Jeff Lax of TVA. We have the largest federal utility in America in the state of Tennessee. We have a TVA production plant, electricity generation plant downtown. TVA's footprint, North Mississippi, North Alabama, North Georgia, Western North Carolina, Southern Kentucky, the whole state of Tennessee has one of the most sustainable power supplies in America. So if you're a business looking to grow, you're looking for a business to locate, and you've got the greatest aquifer on earth underneath you, you've got a power supply by the Tennessee Valley Authority, what's your next question? This is the place to be.
Well, you know what, and you talk about, these things, and you also think about what else sets Memphis apart. You talk about the state of Tennessee. We also have, we have a low cost of living. We have a very favorable tax structure. There are so many things that really set us apart. What are the initiatives or the projects that you're most excited about as you look forward over the next several years for Memphis?
Well, first is we're going to change the narrative of Memphis, Tennessee.
Okay.
And whoever listens to this show, whether it's students with giving them the hope of what's happening, to the parents of those students, when you sit at that dining room table and you talk negative, our children are like sponges, they absorb
I hear that.
But if you're talking positive and giving them hope and a future and a career about, the 15,000 job openings that are coming with the battery cell tech company in Collierville or Blue Oval City or XAI, we have got to do something in Memphis. We got to create this workforce development. We want to be the most successful city in America educating children, because that's the hope in the future. Okay, I don't want to talk about crime, because if you educate, you get a job, you get a paycheck, you have a sense of purpose, you succeed.
Well, okay, you hit on a really important point, because one of the concerns I've always had about all of this business that we're recruiting is, what can we do to make sure that we have an appropriate workforce to be able to attract those business? What can we do to continue to attract top talent and to keep young professionals and young people engaged in Memphis and wanting to stay here to achieve their dreams?
So obviously, if you're a young person looking for a job, you said it, I didn't say it, cost of living in Memphis is very, very affordable. You look at cost of housing, even though it's starting to increase, it's not like Nashville. You can still buy a house. You can earn a really fair wage in this community. And look, we have great places in the metro area. We have great places to live in Memphis, Tennessee. Collierville, Tennessee is a wonderful place to live. Olive Branch, Mississippi, Marion, Arkansas, Brownsville, Tennessee. All of these things, we're all one. Okay, right. The greater Memphis community is one. We all live and breathe with each other. I don't go to the Collierville Grizzlies game. I don't leave from the Olive Branch Airport. Okay, I'm not going to the Brooks Museum in Marion. That's in Memphis. So as Memphis goes, the suburbs go, and we've got to all gang together and be supportive about what the narrative is in Memphis, because the narrative in Collierville is just as important as all the narratives of all these other little communities around Memphis. And guess what's happening? we're growing, and we're growing quickly. North Mississippi is the fastest growing part of the state of Mississippi, and that's really positive for what's going on.
That is positive. You know, and we think about all the things that would attract someone to want to be here, be a part of this community. What role do you think that Memphis's music, our art, our culture plays in making Memphis an attractive place to live and to want to come and be a part of?
So it's a great question, and it's something that I think people take for granted until they step back and are told what's going on. You know, you start with our park system. You look at Shelby Farms Park. You know, look at Shelby Farms. The largest urban park in America, the bike trails where you can go from Collierville to across to Marion, Arkansas on these bike trails. That wasn't there 15 years ago.
Right.
Look at the redevelopment of Tom Lee Park down on the river to make it such a beautiful venue, whether it's a music fest or just taking your family down there. Audubon Park, the new tennis center, the Botanic Garden, the new golf course. Things are going the right way in our park system. Now, America is a sports country. They love sports. The NBA team, the University of Memphis, the 901 soccer team, you know, the Grizzlies. You can go on to the Liberty Bowl, you can go on to the Redbirds. You know, people like to have those amenities to take their kids to, and that's really, really important. But then you look at the arts. Arts in Memphis generates every year an economic impact of over $200 million for our community. And arts can be the Landers Center in South Haven. It could be GPAC in Germantown. It could be the Live at the Garden series at the Botanic Garden. It could be a $200 million state-of-the-art, world-class new Brooks Museum downtown. It could be the Dixon Art Gallery right there on Park Avenue.
And don't forget the Orpheum.
And you don't forget the Orpheum. I spoke there last week, and the Halloran Center and what they've done down there. And my dad was involved in that. There was a building that was at risk of being torn down. And back in the 70s, some visionary business leaders said, we've got the shell of glory in the Orpheum. And you look at today's world, so many cities just tore those old facilities down.
They did.
And now at the top of Beale Street is the Orpheum, and then you've got Beale Street. Is there work that could be done downtown to improve Beale Street and improve downtown? Absolutely. And I will tell you, there are a lot of business leaders that are looking at downtown. That's the vision. We've got to continue to have that vibrant downtown and continuing to come. We've got to get rid of the negatives of crime, and the crime numbers are going down, David, and that's a good thing.
It is.
In our city.
Well, let's talk about that, because you talk about the messaging, you talk about the media, you know, while there's been this focus on the negative. So what do you think that we can do, and how can Memphis really further enhance its reputation as a national and international business leader?
Talk positive at the dinner table. Talk positive when you travel. Anytime somebody wants to talk negative about Memphis, I just gave you a ton of facts. You can beat the positives, okay? We've got Memphis is on the move. You got to explain to them why Memphis makes a difference in America. We're America's distribution capital of the world. We've got investments by major corporations coming to our city. And I can tell you, being on the chamber, I see the pipeline of other businesses looking. I'll tell you another fun fact. Two things. State of Arkansas. Did you know that Mississippi County, Arkansas, 30 miles up the river, is the largest steel manufacturing county in America?
I did not know that. Wow.
There's over $15 billion of investment in the last 20 years to make Mississippi County the #1 steel producing county in America. And oh, by the way, in South Arkansas, there's a crescent moon from Kentucky across Arkansas into Mississippi and Alabama. It's the second largest lithium deposit in America.
Whoa.
#1 investor was Exxon Corporation, which tells you something. They just let a contract to bring the lithium from the Smackover Formation up to Blue Oval City to supply all the batteries. I'm sure the battery plant here in North Mississippi is going to do the same thing. I'm in the supply chain business. Every mile's a dollar. So why are all these $17 billion in investment in EVs in Tennessee? Why is that, David? Location to lithium.
Location, location, location.
That's it.
That's it. Now, you are great at bragging about Memphis, but I want you to take just a moment to reflect on some of the success that you've had and some of the things that you're proud of that you've been able to help accomplish through the chamber, through your leadership with the Chairman's Circle, and some of the initiatives that you've seen over the past few months and the past few years that you've been in leadership.
Well, this whole interview has been talking about being positive.
Absolutely.
I'm not a negative person. If you're negative, it bleeds on your employees, it bleeds on your students. You got to have a hope. You got to have a sense of purpose to be positive. And it's easy to be positive when there's something to be positive about. The difference I hope I'm making is changing the narrative among the 1.33 million, making everybody believe that we're moving in a very, very good direction. Now, I've had an opportunity to travel to Washington to talk about this narrative on a federal level, from the White House to the Senate to the House. Being able to go to Nashville and sit down with other Tennesseans that work in our Senate and our House and talk about not just Memphis, but talk about West Tennessee and the potential for West Tennessee. I mean, the state-funded study on population growth just related to Blue Oval City.
Right.
In the next 10 years, West Tennessee is going to be a population growth of about 13%, about 130,000 additional people coming to West Tennessee, not just Memphis.
Right.
And that's to support all the job growth that we talked about. So
Exactly.
there are two ways to have job growth. It's organically grown through our students and educating them here in town and giving them that sense of purpose to stay and make a difference. Or we're going to recruit people from outside the state because this is a great place to live.
Absolutely. Now, a lot of people have heard of the Chamber of Commerce, but maybe you haven't heard about the Chairman's Circle. And I would love for you to talk about, as the chairman of the Chairman's Circle, a little bit about, the role the Chairman's Circle has played over the past several years and the role that you see it as it goes forward.
So obviously, Collierville has a Chamber of Commerce, Germantown has a Chamber of Commerce, and Chamber of Commerces are there to promote economic development and economic growth. That's
Right.
what they're about. The Memphis Chamber of Commerce, probably 15, 20 years ago, was not doing the purpose because it was politically motivated. There were politicians involved, and the business community, as they do, took a step back.
Yep.
That changed about 12 years ago, and the Chamber became its own entity driven by business only, funded by business only. And we, some of my predecessors in the Chamber created something called the Chairman's Circle. They wanted to create an investment vehicle where we're all on the same terms, okay? Everybody donates to the Chamber under a 501c3, the same amount of money. So
Right.
the smallest business to the biggest business, everybody's got a seat at the table. Whether it's an African-American small business in Whitehaven sitting at the table with Bill Dunavant or Richard Smith or International Paper or AutoZone.
Right.
That's a pretty unique model, and it's very, very inclusive, okay? Our business community has to grow and help in each other. So that Chairman's Circle today represents about 215 businesses that fund about 70% of the budget of the Memphis Chamber. And that budget of the Memphis Chamber is doing what? It's going out and it's figuring out how to help XAI come to Memphis, help Blue Oval come to Memphis, help Panther RX, which came to Collierville, a rare pharmaceutical company. That's 165 jobs that are coming to Collierville, Tennessee.
Absolutely.
I'm really excited about that one. It's not just about the big wins, but it's about the small wins too. Because small wins, big wins, medium wins, they all add up to a win and a positive for our community.
That's tremendous. That's tremendous. So, you've done a great job talking about why Memphis, and you've done a great job talking about this change that we need to have in our narrative, our thoughts, the optimism, as we go forward. So, what is your vision for the next 10 years in Memphis? In terms of community and business growth.
So, here are the things that I'm excited about. Shelby County government wants to rebuild our med center, the level 1 trauma center, which, that represents the level 1 trauma center for Memphis is a regional hospital.
Correct.
We also are blessed to have the University of Tennessee Med School in Memphis. If we build a new hospital and make it a teaching hospital with University of Tennessee, it will open a floodgate of opportunity for federal dollars coming to our city to continue to build on our medical community. Now you think about our medical community. We have Le Bonheur Children's Hospital, cutting edge, best in class. You got Baptist healthcare, you got Methodist healthcare, St. Francis healthcare, and don't forget the elephant in the room. We are so
You
blessed.
mean the pink elephant?
The big pink elephant downtown, St. Jude's Children's Hospital. It is a world-class, leading, nothing like it on the earth. Correct. And they just have one simple goal: eliminate cancer from children. And they're spending an enormous amount of money in our city building about $2 billion worth of construction right now. Just announced another building to build another 17 stories down there. So from a healthcare perspective, 13% of the workforce in our community is healthcare.
Yep.
And so that's really, really important. What am I excited about? I'm excited about healthcare. I'm excited about the future of what we don't know with what Elon Musk is doing and how that continues to make the globe ask the question, what the heck's going on in Memphis? And that's what we need. We're never not going to be known as the global supply chain capital of the world because we're going to continue to grow that. You just see people here because if you think about the pharmaceutical industry, when you talk about the medical device industry, they're here because they need to ship things.
Correct.
You can reach in 72 hours 90% of global GDP in 72 hours.
In 72 hours from Memphis.
72% of the world's GDP you can reach in 72 hours. You can reach 75% of the U.S. population by truck in 48 hours from Memphis.
Wow.
Now, you asked me what I'm excited about?
Absolutely.
Memphis needs to understand that. And remember what I said. When somebody wants to talk negative about our city, you just need to beat them with the facts of positive. Our music, you know, I'll tell you another thing I'm really excited about, and it was just announced. I was with the governor yesterday downtown. We are so blessed from a supply chain distribution capital, from an infrastructure basis. We are going to be building, starting in 2026, a brand new bridge across the Mississippi River.
Correct. Huge.
That's $1 billion investment. That's the largest federal investment in the state history of Tennessee. And it's going to be fast track. It's going to be a signature bridge. What does that mean? Our skyline is going to change with the superstructure related to this new bridge.
Wow.
It's a game changer. It's a game changer for our city. And I will tell you, there were a lot of great people, from Congressman Cohen to Governor Lee to the great team at Tennessee Department of Transportation. But when we went to Washington to meet with the administrator of the Federal Highway Administration, we walked in the meeting and he said that he loved Memphis because he was an Elvis impersonator. I'll tell you, Elvis helped us get that bridge as well.
Oh, my goodness gracious.
It is. And so you asked for the future, the medical industry, the bridge, the future of the IT, information technology, to our city. This incredible movement of EV technology and electronic vehicle technology with Ford Blue Oval and Amplify coming to our community. These are game changers. And it's not just Memphis. Remember, it's the greater Memphis area, from the steel industry in Arkansas to the lithium deposit to the distribution centers, 60 million square feet of distribution centers in North Mississippi, 60 million in West Tennessee. I'm just laying the pieces to the puzzle that are going to make this the most successful, positive area of America.
So what you're telling me is that, yes, IT may stand for IT, but it also stands for Memphis may be the next IT community.
I believe it. I believe it. I'm very positive about it.
Well, and I think you've given us an awful lot to talk about, but yeah, we got a lot of people who are going to be watching this show. So what can the viewers do at home to begin to change that narrative on Memphis? You talked about being positive. What can they do?
I think I said it earlier, and you look at the students at Collierville High School, and there'll be a lot of them watching this, and the parents at Collierville. I asked them the question that I had with my children, and I'm very fortunate. 50% of them, 2 of them live in Memphis, 1 of them works for me. As parents, don't you want your children to come back to your hometown and make a difference, whether it's Collierville or Olive Branch or Marion or Memphis or Somerville or Oakland? And I guarantee 100% of the parents would love to have their children come back. Doesn't mean they can't go travel and work overseas, but they need to come home and make a difference, David, like you've done, like many, many people in this community have done. And it starts with that conversation at the dinner table. It starts with, children, do you know the positives of what's happening in our community? Do you know about the sports and how awesome that is? Do you know about the arts? Do you know about the parks? Do you know about the economic impact of the businesses and job opportunities that are coming? But it doesn't necessarily mean a high school education. There's some people in our community that would rather have a welding, a plumbing, electrical degree. Not everybody can be a pilot for Federal Express, but there are incredibly great paying jobs, okay, that we can do it. And we all need to band together and work on education, because it starts. The greatest gift in my life, bar none, is the opportunity my dad gave me and my mom to be educated.
Absolutely.
Okay, and
so important.
It's just, when I look at kids today, I tell my kids this. I said, I'm not going to pay for your education unless you take 2 classes, and the most important 2 classes I took, both at Memphis University School, the University of Virginia, were public speaking. Mm-hmm. Because if you can't sit up in front like you and I are doing right now and carry on a conversation, or go to a job interview and shake somebody's hand and look them in the eye and make an impression on them, you're going to have a leg up if you can do that. And I would encourage that for any young kids listening.
Well, you know what, that's so fantastic, because, we are talking to students and we are helping develop that next generation. And I know you talk to business leaders all the time. Then, in addition to public speaking and the ability to communicate, what are some of the other skills that our students should be looking to acquire as they're trying to prepare themselves for success in their lives?
The first thing I would say is the mirror. As a young kid, when you get up, look in the mirror, because guess who's responsible?
You are.
Who you're looking at in the mirror.
That's right.
You're responsible for those choices you make. You're responsible for listening to your teachers, listening to your parents, being polite, having fun. Mm-hmm. I tell all my employees, I don't want you working for us unless you're here to have fun.
Exactly.
Because it's not just all about the hard grind of business. I run a 96-year-old family business. I'm very proud of the fact that every employee that comes to us, they need to understand what it means to work for a family business. Mm-hmm. And we're not a big public company. We don't act like a big public company. We care about our teammates. We care about their families. But more importantly, we want them to work hard, but they need to have fun doing it.
That's so important. We've talked an awful lot about some of these wonderful things, and you've had such an incredible career and incredible life. What does success look like for Bill Dunavant?
Waking up every morning, putting my feet on the ground. No, look, success is not necessarily about, people look at success, oh, he made so much, this money or that money. Success is about having a sense of purpose.
Yes.
Okay, it's not just for me about business. If I can have a sense of purpose in changing the narrative that we're talking about Memphis, Tennessee, mm-hmm. or letting whoever listens to this show understand that all of us, the 1.33 million people in the greater Memphis area, you can make a difference for Memphis, just like I'm attempting to, by talking about it, by highlighting what's going on. Don't hide behind the negative. If you're going to listen to just the local news, then your mind is going to be polluted. I'm sorry, that's just the way I believe, because that's negative. You want your kids to be negative? Turn the TV on. If you want them to be positive, get some fresh air, go study, go be with friends, go have some fun, because there's so much good going on in our community, and I just want people to understand it, but they got to sell it just like you and I are.
Without question. Just the last couple of questions here. We're here at Collierville High School, which is an amazing facility, and we're filming with the incredible kids. What message would you have to the students of Collierville High School, the students of this community, when it comes to leadership?
So that's a great question, and part of the positive narrative that I've been talking about for the last year, and a lot of people don't recognize this. We live in Shelby County. Mm-hmm. Four of the top-rated school districts in the whole state of Tennessee are right here in Shelby County. And I am so blessed to be sitting here in one of them today, and that's Collierville High School. The town of Collierville, what they did and what they built, and the variety of programs for these children and students to get involved with is a game changer for mm-hmm. Tennessee. It's a game changer for Memphis. It is a model not just for Shelby County, the state, but it's a national model of success. And success is how you educate kids. And this facility that they had the vision to build, remember, in my opinion, there is no competition in education.
No, there's not.
Because we're all in it to educate kids to do better, get a sense of purpose, get a job, get a paycheck, and be successful. But success is defined in that mirror. When you look at yourself and you can smile and you know that you made a difference, whether it's community service, whether it's on an athletic field, whether it's entering politics or entering business or becoming a teacher. Everybody's going to find their sense of purpose. Everybody's going to be different. Everybody's going to define themselves different.
Exactly.
You know, I clearly ran track when I was a kid, and I wasn't the fastest guy. But that didn't mean I wasn't successful for having fun trying.
I love it. Bill, first of all, thank you so much for this. I want to ask one last question. And again, you've had a great career, but you have a long way to go. But when you do look back and you reflect upon your career, what would you hope would be the legacy of Bill Dunavant?
It's simple: 4 children. 4 children. You know, at the end of the day, whether it's my mom and dad, your mom and dad, you only have 2. And the greatest gift in life is your children. No question.
You know, I've often said that the greatest job I've ever had in my life was being a dad until I became a poppy, those grandkids. And you and I both get very emotional when we talk about our kids and our family. It's what it's all about. And it's why you and I were involved in things like scouting and the lessons that were learned by there. Bill, this has been such a joy. It's been such a pleasure. And I am so excited that the messaging that you've just come up with and talking about why Memphis, the messages that people need to hear about. Again, when I had the opportunity to listen to your presentation a month ago, I was so inspired. And I said, this is a messaging that we need to get out to everyone, that this is an amazing place, but we can be even greater as we go forward. So thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing your message. Thank you for your journey, the commitment that you've had to our community, to the business community, the community of Memphis, and the greater good. Because it is about purpose, and it is about leaving this place a better place than we found it, and you're certainly on that journey. So thank you very much for being with us.
Just stay positive. Keep preaching. Keep preaching. Thank y'all.
God bless you. Thank you. Never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world. Indeed, it's the only thing that ever has. This quote by American cultural anthropologist and author Margaret Mead is a testament to the power of engaged citizenship by business and community leaders. Bill Dunavant's passion for Memphis truly shines when he talks about Memphis' potential and the strong sense of community that has always driven its growth. Bill is a true visionary, and his love for his city is contagious. His insight on how Memphis can be the next IT city in the South is something we should all pay attention to. As Bill reminded us, it's all about investing in the community and believing in its future. Bill is one of those committed citizens, and his work shows how much can be achieved when we come together to uplift our city. Another great thinker, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., once said, "Life's most persistent and urgent question is, what are you doing for others?" Bill has answered that question time and time again through his dedication to economic development, community programs, and supporting Memphis' future. Memphis is at a tipping point with its rich culture, thriving arts scene, and growing entrepreneurial spirit. There's no reason it can't be the next major hotspot in the South. From music and food to tech innovation and business, the pieces are all in place for Memphis to make its mark as a destination where creativity and industry collide. Thank you, Bill Dunavant, for your sharing your wisdom, your passion, and your commitment to making this community a better place for all of us. With leaders like you, Memphis' future is brighter than ever. Let's continue to work together to build the next great Southern city. And that's my 2 cents. Until David Pickler, I'm your host, Until next time, I'm your host, David Pickler. Thank you for watching Bull TV, where together we're delivering solutions for a stronger community.